Hey guys, what's up? I'm Mark, and in this channel, I talk a little bit about lifestyle, but I mostly talk about business and investments. In today's video, I'm giving you an update about GCASH GINVEST. Unfortunately, we are still awaiting GInvest's foray into Philippine stocks and global stocks. So that's been there for a while now. It's still parked. I don't know when they intend to launch this. So in the absence of that, I'm giving you a performance update about the latest funds under GInvest, which again they renamed under the new banner GFUNDS. If you missed my introductory video on that a few months ago, you can check out the link down below. We won't get into much of the background or the information about these four new funds. We will be strictly focusing on the performance of the funds from the time it launched to now. Are these funds performing well and are they worth your while? Let's find out. So as a refresher, GCASH GInvest launched 4 new investment funds under GFUNDS. All of these funds have been launched and are being managed by ATRAM. Let's first go into the local fund, which is the Philippine Sustainability and Development Growth Fund. So looking at the performance of this fund from November when it launched to now, and I'm shooting this after April 24th, the current value of this fund stands at 105.296228. And if we compare this to the 6 months since its launch, this is about an increase of 3.2%. By the way, I didn't personally invest in this fund. What I'm using is UITF.com.ph. So I actually find this website very useful. It lists down all the performances of all the UITFs in the Philippines. So whether it's from BPI, BDO, or other investment companies out there, you can actually look up their performance in uitf.com.ph. So I suggest that you can do that if you wanted to go through some more homework other than what I'm giving you from these videos. So again, for this fund, we are looking at an increase of only about 3.2%. If we compare it to the first local stock equity fund that was launched by ATRAM, the Philippine Smart Equity Index Fund is at 100.849251. So that's an increase of about 7.09%. So if you caught yourself deciding between the two, I actually suggest that you invest in the former fund rather than this newer fund. So let's move on to the 3 foreign funds. 2 of these I actually recommended as my personal preference. The first one is the Global Infra Equity Feeder Fund. As of April 24, its current value is at 95 pesos. Again, comparing it to November, it's only having an increase of 1.8%. Moving on to the second fund that I recommended, the Global Healthcare Feeder Fund. Its NAV2 is at 100. So comparing it to November, had you invested in this from the start, this is only an increase of 0.43%. So what can we learn here, guys? The truth is, some of my recommendations may not be the best ones. As I always say, watch these videos with a little grain of salt, do your own homework. So far, what I'm showing is what I've picked have actually not been the best picks. And lastly, let's move on to the 4th new fund that was launched. So this is the Global Equity Opportunity Feeder Fund. Its current value as of April 24th is at 103.179424. Comparing this to about 6 months ago, again when it launched, it's an increase of about 6.12%. So out of the 4 newly launched funds, the best one would be the Global Equity Opportunity Feeder Fund, and this is followed by the Philippine Sustainability and Development Growth Fund. Third place on this list would be the Infra Equity Feeder Fund, and fourth, unfortunately, would be the Healthcare Feeder Fund. Just for comparison, if we compare these 3 new global funds versus the 2 funds that were launched also under ATRAM 2 years ago, we are going by the same performance from November 2022 to April 24 of 2023. The Global Technology Feeder Fund has its NAV2 of 225.862025, which is an increase of 11.74%. And the other fund, the Global Consumer Trends Index Fund, it's at 116, which again, from this period, is an increase of about 3.57%. So what can we learn from these 4 new funds? Well, comparing it to the previously launched funds by ATRAM with GCash, some are performing better, some are a little lackluster. So I can't say completely that The original funds are much better, except for the Philippine Smart Equity Index Fund that's actually performing much better than the new local fund that ATRAM launched. On the global equity side of things, there's one fund that really outperformed the rest, which is the Global Technology Feeder Fund. However, this may be an outlier. If you have been keeping in touch with the global stock market, you know that Google, Facebook, Amazon, all the technology Silicon Valley companies have really not been living their best lives in the last year. So their recovery from November to an increase of almost 12% is actually an outlier within the market. I mean, yes, they are slowly recovering, but the dips that they've encountered when you are comparing from a one-year trend is actually a lot more. In fact, these stocks haven't really recovered just yet. So the reflection of the ATRAM Global Technology Feeder Fund is a little bit of an outlier, while the rest is actually performing a little under 7%, with the Global Equity Opportunity Fund as the highest performing one so far. And what else did we learn here? As mentioned before, I recommended going into the Infra Equity Feeder Fund and the Healthcare Feeder Fund myself. I invested in this via GCASH and the other one via Seedbox Philippines. As you see, my picks don't necessarily work out. But do keep in mind that this is just a 6-month snapshot. If you go through my previous video, I actually shared there with you that I wanted to go into the Infra Equity Feeder Fund and the Global Healthcare Feeder Fund because they are vastly different from the Consumer Trends Index Fund and the Global Technology Feeder Fund, because those funds are heavily reliant on the consumer side of things, while as the name suggests, healthcare, the infrastructure, these are really more long-term plays. And as always, a 6-month snapshot doesn't necessarily mean that it's always going to be this way. This is too short of a period to really see how the funds will really play out in the future. I felt that this video might be helpful because we have so many choices now. We have to be more and more discerning about those that we choose and what to invest in. I mean, it's good that GCash is making it easy for us to try and really have a sachet approach into investing. But in the long run, we want to be selecting only the best ones. Pick that which will really time and jive with your investment horizon. And on that note, I've been doing some research about, are these really the best funds out there? Or are there funds that are much simpler and even better performing? I'll share that in a future video. If you've liked this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thanks again for watching, guys, and happy investing.